Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode. So I am really happy that you're joining us today. Alright, so you've probably already read the title of this episode. So this is really just more of a follow-up on a previous one that we did. So of course, I'm really happy to be sober for 100 days. Wow, that's something we're celebrating. I'm gonna talk about how this journey has been so far. And of course, I'm gonna be real with you guys. There have been challenges. There have been a lot of tempting moments as well. So we'll get into that. I want to cover first, what has changed in these 100 days. I have this app on my phone. It's called the I Am Sober app. Not sponsored, by the way. So I downloaded that just to keep myself accountable because it notifies me every day, and I have to open that app every day. There's a sense of accountability every day for the past 100 days. Checking in on myself, how do I feel, what did I do that day, and just really, stress management because I do have a lot on my plate at the moment because I am taking a master's degree. So that's that. And it really changed how I would approach any issues or any inconveniences. Because in the past, whenever I would feel stressed, like for example, you had a hard day at work or it was a long week, my default has always been, oh, I need a drink after this. I had a long day. Or it's been a tough week. I need to go drink with my friends. And, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just want to let loose, right? But as for me in this journey, it's just really made me more mindful of how I manage my stress. And instead of resorting to alcohol and those things, I was channeling my stress into other activities. I would just do other productive things, or it actually helped me manage my sleep better. So that's that. What I also noticed is that whenever I would hang out with friends, because I don't drink anymore, not much has changed when it comes to me socializing with friends and whoever. As I said in our episode before, that I'm still open to going to clubs or places that serve alcohol. I just won't drink. This has allowed me to make more genuine connections actually because, my mind is present. Okay. And it also actually helped me socialize better or have the confidence to initiate conversations with other people. Because we all know alcohol is liquid courage, right? When you're tipsy or when you're under the influence of alcohol, it gives you that sense of confidence. Let's not deny that. It also helped me with my social skills because I can get shy sometimes, okay? I know, I make content, I make podcasts like this, my face is on here, but yes, I still do get shy in real life. So that's that. And this has allowed me to overcome that little by little. Those are really the significant changes I've noticed. And you know what? I'm here for it, honestly. Of course, we've talked about what has changed. And I'm going to tell you guys about the challenges. Okay? Because when we make this choice, not a lot of people are going to agree with our choices. So since I've moved here to Singapore, and whenever I would tell people I would be meeting that I don't drink, I do get mixed reactions. Okay? So some people I meet, they are shocked, amazed, and they're even curious about what made me arrive to this decision. So of course, it's also a chance for me to promote the podcast. There have been some people as well who are shocked. They have said oh, then how do you socialize and how do you do this and that? I just tell them oh, I just show up hey, don't we all socialize? That's even without alcohol. What's also nice is that while I've been sharing my journey to arrive at this decision, it actually also enabled those people I've been sharing with to, tell me about their experience, because I have some friends who have told me that they used to have bad habits in the past, whether that's alcohol or other substances, even nicotine. So it's really nice to be hearing these from others as well, because let's be real, it's not easy to share those things, okay? because I know it took a lot in me to talk about quitting alcohol in our previous episode. So whenever I would share to others on how I quit alcohol, and then they would also be open to sharing their own experiences with me. So that's something I really appreciate. I guess it just shows that to be open about things like this, we just need someone else to be open about it first. You know what I mean? I guess it's sort of my way of influencing others to be open about this. And I really appreciated that from those people I've met so far. And I'm gonna be real about this part, most especially, okay? I'm gonna be honest, when it's easy to say that, oh, I'm gonna quit alcohol today, but it's really a challenge, or it's quite hard to maintain that decision. Because, when I made this decision to quit alcohol last June, I was like, okay, I quit, bye. I did not anticipate the moments of weakness I will be encountering. I've had my moments of weakness throughout this 100 days. I have been tempted. I have also experienced peer pressure. It's part of that. It's part of this journey. Because a few weekends ago, I actually went clubbing for the first time here in Singapore. So I was with a friend and other people who were there as well. And while they did know that I don't drink, so they were very respectful of that. And yeah, I do appreciate that. But there have been moments that night where they would make jokes like, oh, maybe just a sip, or maybe just a shot, or they would say like, I can't imagine not drinking or going to a party and not drinking. I know these are just harmless, innocent, funny type of comments, but sometimes it kind of makes you think like, okay, that's weird. We were at the club, right? That was my first time clubbing here. And we were at this table. So I was just out there having some soda and juice, whatever. And then everybody else I was with, they were having shots of vodka or mixing things in their drinks. Fine. And I have to be honest with you guys. Throughout that night, I have had several thoughts of, putting something in my juice or soda. There have been these thoughts of, me saying like, oh, maybe I could just put a little bit of vodka into my juice. No one's gonna notice, or nobody needs to know. But I'll know. And everybody else in that table will know. And God will know. If I do that, I would just be fooling myself. And I also gave it some thought, I'm going almost 100 days of being sober. Am I gonna give all that away for what? Yeah, just one night of being tipsy and coming home with a headache? I'm not saying that I'm better than those people who drink alcohol, okay? It was never like that. People have fun in their own way. I just really am able to have fun even without those things. And yeah, there's really nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with whether you want to consume alcohol at parties or not. Yeah, everybody does their own thing. During that night, I was really tested because I've had those multiple thoughts of just consuming a little bit of alcohol, like even just a sip. And I guess this is where the self-control really comes in. Because what I realized after going clubbing is that quitting alcohol requires a high level of self-control. Okay? Because as I said earlier, it's easy to decide today that you're gonna quit, but a lot of people often give up after a few days or a few weeks because they are exposed to these things. I've told my friends about that experience clubbing here in Singapore. A lot of them have commended me for having such a high level of self-control. And I told them it was hard, okay? I'm not gonna deny that. When you're staying sober while you're surrounded with all these things, like you're in the club, there are and everybody around you is drinking, having shots, and the bottle is placed in front of you at the table. Whew, boy, it does get tempting. So with that, I feel like curating my environment moving forward is really something I have to put more importance towards, because let's be real, am I gonna be successful in this whole staying sober thing if I'm often in those types of places? No. Me being sober is bigger than a single night of blacking out and, not remembering anything after. Okay, you just really have to be mindful of you just really have to remind yourself of your goal constantly. My goal was to stay sober. My goal was to, establish genuine connections and interact more mindfully. And was all of that aligning with my goals? No. I guess it's safe to say that was my first and probably my last clubbing experience here. I mean, it was fun, okay? The music was nice, vibes were great, but it's just the alcohol just everywhere. And maybe because, maybe the company as well, because, I'm not as close to them as I am with my other friends back home. So I think your company also plays a huge role in whether you're trying to be sober or even if you just want to have a great time. Actually, while I was at the club that night, I was talking to one of my friends and I was telling him like, oh my gosh, I am so tempted right now. Like, they placed the bottle in front of me. And one thing he told me was, it's okay to leave. And I realized like, oh yeah, I am free to leave. I have free will. Okay? So if you're ever in that situation, like for example, if you're someone who's staying sober like me and you're ever in that situation, there's nothing wrong with just removing yourself from that. Okay, like we're all adults. It's okay to leave. My point from the previous episode still stands, honestly. Is that you can still have fun without blacking out. Yeah, I'm gonna stand by that always. Because, even if I've been exposed to the clubbing scene here, or I've gone to bars as well here in Singapore, I'm still able to have fun. Okay, I'm still able to have a great time. I'm still able to enjoy my environment. So, honestly, at this point, there's nothing that will change my mind. Even if I get comments from other people I meet that, oh, how did you do this? Or how are you doing this, being sober? I don't care. Okay? Even if people are, playing jokes about it, saying that, oh, probably next week you'll be having drinks with us. No. And also something I would want to reiterate from our previous episode is that your real friends will be supportive of you whether you're being sober or not. Genuine connections will never force you to do something you do not want to do. Genuine people will always keep you accountable of your goals. All these things I'm getting busy with at the moment, like getting master's degree, doing this podcast, which by the way, we're at our 11th episode. Wow. So do you really think I have time to get wasted out there? No. It also goes to show that, time is money. Time is resource. Do you think I would want to be spending a lot of my time, getting so wasted at a club and getting so tired because it's crowded and you're standing up all the time? No, I would rather just sleep early or come up with new episodes for this podcast or literally anything else that would actually be more productive with my life. So, yeah. I'm just really gonna close this episode with, you can still have fun without blacking out. Do what you will with that, I guess. So yeah, I'm really happy that it's been 100 days of being sober, or it's been 100 days of choosing to be sober and just focusing on a goal. just really goes to show that, when you keep yourself accountable and you have genuine friends and great company to also keep you accountable and respect your decisions, it's actually possible. Alright, so that is it for this episode. And as I said in the beginning, this is really just an update of an episode we did previously. So that's that. You can actually just, scroll through the channel, or whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, or you can just go browse my page for that episode if you would like to watch it, or I could actually link it in the description wherever. So that's that. Yeah, I'm just really so happy until now that we're already going with more than 10 episodes. So this really started out as something I wanted to do as a hobby, and that time it was just YouTube. So it's nice that we're also on Spotify now. I hope you guys show the podcast some love. So whether you're listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube, go ahead and leave a like or a comment, or rate it 5 stars on Spotify. That really helps a lot. So it's been really fun making this update, really, and it's been a great 100 days. It had its ups and downs, but we're here. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.